All right, now as Israel heads to the polls for the third time in less than a year, we can't help but wonder, is this really the last time? Joining us now in the studio to discuss what Israel's future government is going to look like is Avi Hyman, the director of the Likud Party's Anglo Campaign, and Yossi Yona, a former Knesset member for the Labour Party and a professor at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you both so much for being with us today.
Thanks
now, I'll just open this one up to the floor. Avi, maybe you want to start us off. Why should the undecided voter vote for the Likud at this point?
Well, we've never had a better decade from an economic point of view, from a stability point of view, security point of view. Things have never been better. We've got an incredible relationship with the White House. We have the best friend in the White House. We have amazing opportunities on the brink that we can take care of. If we don't vote for the Likud, things will be very, very different. From an economic point of view, we will move away from free markets. From a security point of view, we'll start umming and ahhing on security positions, and we could lose the opportunity of a lifetime, which is the deal of the century.
But Gantz has said that he supports the deal of the century.
Well, he does say that, as long as the United Nations and the European Union agree, and the chance of that happening is minimal. To say the least. And at the end of the day...
But the plan also necessitates some Palestinian involvement, and so far there isn't any anyway.
Well, absolutely. But the plan also, for the first time ever, gives Israel a carrot instead of a stick and says, Israel, you can apply Israeli law over Judea and Samaria, over your communities in Judea and Samaria. That's huge. That was done by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and that will not be achieved by anyone else.
Yoni?
Well, I don't know about the deal of the century. The way I see it is actually everybody knows by now that it is part of election campaign on part of Netanyahu, and actually it makes no impact. And of course, it's ridiculous then when you come up and put on the table a peace initiative that I totally ignore the other side and doesn't see them as a partner to discussion about that. And by the way, I think that the Likud's polls have shown that it makes no impact on the Likud potential voters. So this is vis-a-vis this issue. Vis-a-vis the other issues that my friend here, Avi, talked about, in terms of as if, Israel have never seen such economic prosperity. And well, of course, I disagree about that. There are a lot of people, I think about 20% of the Israeli population living under the poverty line. We have seen the crisis in the medical area, schooling areas, where we have the largest gaps in the OECD countries, in terms of achievement between poor kids and wealthy kids. So I don't see it as my friend Avi is kind of presenting it kind of a rosy picture that should lead people to vote for the Likud at large and Netanyahu specifically.
Well, I want to move now, and Yossi, I'll stay with you. I want to move now maybe to the more practical. Can the left, or the right for that matter, form a coalition? Because right now the numbers aren't for either of them. Lieberman has said that he won't sit with Netanyahu, but he's also now saying again that he won't sit with the Arab parties. So
yeah, well, we are in a bind, and as we're nearing the election day, and it seems that we're going to be stuck again with a tie. What would happen? Of course, well, there is the aspiration on part of the Likud that they would be able, like the center-right would win 61 seats in the parliament and then they'll form a coalition government. I don't see it happening. But on the other hand, it seems that we're going again towards a tie. Now, what would happen in such a case? I do believe that at the end of the day, and though I'm very, very, kind of afraid of making all these prophecies, because, it's very dangerous business. But nonetheless, I do believe that we're going to have a unity government, and I also conjecture that Netanyahu would not be part of that.
All right, well, so Avi, I actually kind of want to ask you something else now. Assuming that there isn't a tie, assuming that there is a tie and that we do go to fourth elections, Netanyahu is now facing trial and Gantz is also facing investigations of his own. How do you think that would weather their campaigns ahead of that?
Well, when we're talking about the campaign, the Likud strategy for the campaign is all-out victory, and that means if you look at the polls of today, we're up to 59 with the right-wing bloc, 35 seats for Likud. Now, I don't necessarily buy polls. What I know is historically Likud goes past what the polls say. So we're saying there was 300,000 Likud voters that didn't come out last election. We're saying if we can get them out, and we've seen an unprecedented campaign by the Prime Minister, doing 2 to 3 events a night, going to the base, pumping the base, saying if you want me as the Prime Minister, you better get out and vote for me. That might just do it. I think it will do it. I think we will get past the 61. I think Netanyahu will be the Prime Minister once again. And yeah.
I disagree with this kind of the way that Avi is seeing it. As I said, I think we're going to end up with a tie. And as I was saying before, we're going to probably have a unity government, though Netanyahu would have to step down.
Well, I certainly hope. I think I speak for a lot of Israelis when we say, unity government would be amazing. But really anything to end the cycle of elections. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.